Oh, hello, good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? Please say hi in the comments when you see me, and if you're watching the replay, just say replay. That will be very helpful for me to see how everyone is using these workshops that we're running every month. See if you're sharing it, watching it back, finding it valuable. So, I'm just checking to make sure that I'm live. Perfect. Okay. Everything is working. So welcome everyone to another month of me diving deep into a topic and sharing with you all what I've learned in order to help us green up our lifestyles. Tonight's topic is all things produce. How clean is it? Which ones should we be buying organic? Can we trust if it's even organic? How can we best protect ourselves and our loved ones when it comes to our produce? I'll go over some simple solutions to keep it easy for us while also being impactful on our overall wellness. And of course, at the end, I will have a fun produce hack for you that can help you start every day feeling your best. For anyone who does not already know me, my name is Christine Barnes, and as usual, I'm your friend. I care about you and I care about the world. I want to see people living their very best lives for as long as possible. I am a wellness enthusiast, a green and clean living advocate, and I am here to help other people that are like me. People who try to do the best they can for themselves and the people that they care about. People who don't want to just survive in this world, but rather people who want to thrive in this world, well into old age. People who are interested in making small, simple, manageable shifts that have a big impact on our lives and our overall wellness. My personal mission is to help you live your best life for as long as possible. So that's why in 2024, I'm taking my passion, I'm putting it to work, because I believe that people deserve to know that there's another way for us to do things that's both safer and better for us. Because I believe that when you're informed, you're empowered. And once we know better, we can do better for ourselves and for the ones that we love. Okay, so who is ready to get started and learn all about our favorite fruits and veggies? First question, excuse me, how clean is our produce to begin with? Tell me in the comments, what do you think we're washing off of our produce when we're bringing it home from the store? Now, first and foremost, produce is handled multiple times before it even gets into the grocery store. Then, once it's there, it's safe to assume that it's likely been breathed on, sneezed on, coughed on, and probably handled even more, right? Anybody else out there like me? I certainly don't just typically take the first piece of fruit that I pick up. I basically have to manhandle every piece of fruit to be sure that it's the one that I want. Anyone else? Yeah? Not too soft, not too hard, no? But that's not all. Sometimes there's just plain old dirt residue that we need to clean off because produce grows, excuse me, in dirt. And unfortunately, most produce is also grown with the use of pesticides. Does anybody want their food to be coated in pesticides? I didn't think so. Because we all know that pesticides are harmful to our wellness, right? As a society, we learned, back in the 1960s, which is 80 years ago now, when birds were literally falling dead out of the sky from toxic pesticides being applied to farm fields. We learned then how toxic and deadly pesticides can be for living things. That's why we have the EPA now. That's why things have changed. Okay? But they haven't gone away. We're still using pesticides. And sure, pesticides are helpful for keeping pesky bugs away from our precious resources that we need to survive, right? We have to eat food, and we don't want the bugs getting in the way. However, here's the tricky thing about using pesticides. Okay, using pesticides for gardening. This goes for aerosols, granules, dusts, sprays, whatever we're laying down on the land to try to deal with some bugs or maybe even some weeds. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to bugs, bugs evolve. And they evolve a heck of a lot faster than humans evolve because evolution takes generations. Okay, and a bug's life is really just a matter of days. Do you see what I'm saying? So generations passing for humans is much longer than generations for bugs. So generations go by for these bugs, and then so what does that have to do with anything? Bugs develop these super races that become immune to the formulas that are being used, and as a result, deadlier formulas are continually being developed and used. This right here might be a good place to just reiterate the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of chemicals registered for use globally, with more being developed every single day, most of which have never been tested for safety for use on humans, nor the safety of them being combined with other chemicals that have never been tested for safety. So with that being said, it's basically impossible to even test the safety of all chemicals because the number of chemicals in the world is just too vast. So a lot of times we're playing this Russian roulette kind of with different chemicals, putting them in different products, and then we see 10, 20 years down the road, oh, that was a bad idea. So this is actually, when it comes down to it, when we're speaking about pesticides, this is really bad news for farmers and their families because studies have linked long-term pesticide exposure to increased risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Also linked to prostate, ovarian, and other cancers, depression, and respiratory problems. It's suggested even that adults and children living in farm communities could also be at risk for chronic health problems. While the rest of us may not directly handle the stuff, we're still exposed to pesticides through our food, and I'm sure many of us might still be using pesticides on our own lawns. Now, I want to back up for just a second and share this. The goal here is to reduce our overall body burden or toxic load. We've learned so far this year in these webcasts alone that we are exposed to toxic chemicals in more ways than we even realize. So please do not beat yourself up as you try to learn more about different ways you've been unwittingly exposed to chemicals. Most people don't even consider toxins in their environments, and just as many people are not ready to rip the blindfold off yet. And I know this because even if they were open and ready to learn, then this group would probably have more than 100 people in it, right? But really, I do know that it can be overwhelming information at times, but the fact that you're here and that you're listening tells me that you're exactly where you need to be, and you are already steps ahead of so many other people out there. So with that, onward and upward, we can change what we can, and we can let go of the things that we can't. Okay? So back to business. Did you know that most of the streams and rivers in the U.S. contain pesticides or pesticide residue? Fact. Disturbing, but fact. Why do you think that is? It could be from runoff from from farmlands, of course, right? And it could also, some of it be from rinsing our produce and cleaning it under running water, okay? So this brings me to the question, this begs the question, can we wash pesticide residue from our produce? Well, you can definitely rinse your produce underwater. And rinsing underwater will remove surface residues as well as dirt and bacteria. But you cannot completely wash the pesticides away or the risk. Pesticides can stick to soft skins. Sometimes, maybe you've noticed there's a wax coating used on some produce that can trap those pesticide residues. And some pesticides are systemic. Okay, that means they're taken up by the plant's root system and they get into the produce so they can't be washed off. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you have not heard of this yet, it was new to me just in the past year. There is a special edible coating that has been being used on produce since it was developed back in 2012. You might have heard of it, and it's known as Apeel. Apeel. Apeel, or also known as Edipeel, like edible appeal, Edipeel. The initial idea behind it was good. The goal was to extend the life of produce in order to help prevent food waste in countries without refrigeration infrastructure. Okay? Here's the thing though. Apeel is not just a surface coating. It's absorbed into the fruit and vegetable rinds. And while it is considered generally recognized as safe by the FDA, there's still a lot of controversy about the edible food coating. It has been shared by the company, Apeel, that they do in fact use mono and diglycerides, which contain trans fats, which promote inflammation in the body and have been associated with heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. So one of the reasons why that's so bothersome to me is because we're taking something healthy and we're putting trans fats on them. It does not make sense. The Apeel company has also shared that they use both ethyl acetate, which is what's used in nail polishes, and heptane, which is considered toxic. Both of those are used as solvents in the process. And they've even shared, the company has even shared that you'll find traces of heavy metals in the coating, like arsenic, lead, mercury. So just so I'm being clear for myself, heavy metals are now being added to our produce also. Does that make sense to anyone? And then to top it off, Apeel has actually come out with Organapeel coating, which is now being used on organic produce. Is nothing sacred? I mean, So they say organic, here's the thing with organic produce though, is it does need to follow a very specific guidelines in order to be labeled as organic. So it is my hope, there is no clear answer on the internet that I've been able to find in the way of the Organapeel. So there is hope that maybe somehow that one is safe. I'm not sure though. I don't have a finite answer to that. Okay, so how do you avoid produce that was coated with Apeel? Number one, look for on your produce, look for a green and white Apeel sticker. And just avoid produce that has a sticker on it that looks like this. Okay? You can also ask your store that you shop at if they're selling produce with Apeel. If the answer is yes, then try another local store. There are stores out there, and if you do a quick Google search, you can find a list of stores that may or may not use Apeel. If you want to know what I'm aware of, you can ask me, and I'll send you that info afterwards. This is just too vast of a topic to really dive very deep into, and I want to move on to sharing other things that I've learned. But what I gather is that Apeel is not something that you want to be having on your produce if you can help it. Okay? Okay, so buying organic, we just heard, doesn't necessarily solve the Apeel issue. However, it still can make a big difference when it comes to limiting our pesticide consumption. Have you ever heard of the Dirty Dozen? So each year, the Environmental Working Group puts out an updated Dirty Dozen list of the 12 most contaminated types of produce in the way of pesticides. Are you ready to hear the list for 2024? So before I share, why don't you take a guess in the comments which type of produce you think will land in the number one spot? The type of produce that is riddled with the most pesticides. Now, I didn't make a note in my notes, but I want to say it because it just popped in my head, is that a lot of times it's not even like when they're testing to see if food is safe for consumption and they're testing pesticide levels to get these statistics and things, they're finding that it's not just one pesticide on your produce. They're finding that it's multiple different types of pesticides on the produce. So just also bear that in mind as we go through this. All right, your dirty dozen. Here we go. Number 12 is green beans. Number 11, blueberries. Number 10, cherries. Number 9 is bell peppers and hot peppers. Number 8, a family favorite here, is apples. Number 9 is nectarines. Or I'm sorry, number 7. I'm counting backwards. Number 7 is nectarines. Number 6 is pears. So as we're going down this list, we're getting more and more contaminated. Number 5 is peaches. Peaches. And then number 4, grapes. Number 3 is kale, mustard, and collard greens. Number 2 is spinach. And the number 1, I'm sure you guys guessed it, I don't have the comments right in front of me, the most contaminated fruit or produce is strawberries. I always, always, always try to buy my strawberries organic, which in the off season, that can be expensive, okay? So sometimes in the off season, I just don't eat a lot of strawberries. Like that is one of my tips, is to eat in season, okay? If anything is coming in out of season, then it is being shipped in from somewhere very far away. Okay. So again, while I'm not able, or maybe buying organic for everything is not realistic for your family or even my family, I will make sure that I buy these dirty dozen produce organic. Okay. All right. So I do have another interesting little hack to share with you that might help while you're in the grocery store. Did you know that the stickers on your produce are both universal? That means the same everywhere, no matter where you are in the world. I'm pretty sure they're universal globally. And they're also very insightful. So let's say you're at the store and you're near a bin and it's not labeled. So you don't know it's apples, but you don't know what kind of apples they are. So you want to know, and there's no signs. You can look at the sticker on the produce. Number 1, any 4-digit number on the produce means it was conventionally grown with pesticides. Okay? 4-digit numbers contain pesticides. If it's a 5-digit number and it starts with 9, it means it's organic and it adheres to the standards for growing organic produce. If it's a 5-digit number that begins with 8, it is genetically modified and you should stay away from it. Okay? I made this little sign here, really technologically advanced. So 4 digits, those 4 digits are the same anywhere you go. Like, I don't remember what a banana is, but let's say a banana is 4611. Okay? An organic banana would be 94611. It's just the same number, same item number with a 9 in front of it. That's how you know it's organic. So again, if it starts with an 8, stay away. If it's 4-digit number, you know it has pesticides in it. And if it's a 5-digit number that starts with 9, it was organically grown. Okay. Here's a question about frozen produce. What about frozen produce though? Okay, I love frozen produce because it's quick, it's easy to prepare, it's also more cost effective than fresh produce from the store. I could not find a straight answer on the internet when it comes to pesticides and frozen produce, but I would be inclined to assume all of the same information holds true. So you would want to be choosing organic for any of those dirty dozen fruits and vegetables, and get those organic frozen, okay? So whether they're fresh or frozen. Otherwise, I love frozen produce because, again, it's a good option that doesn't spoil quickly. And although we all know that produce is more nutritious when it's fresh, a lot of us still have canned goods too because they're shelf stable for so much longer. For those of us that are still using canned vegetables from the store, it's great to have those things on hand for in a pinch. And fortunately, today, they're not using liners loaded with BPA, okay? But again, I would always say that fresh or frozen are the better options for our wellness overall. Should you ever skip produce altogether? Big answer is no. Big answer is no. Produce is essential to a balanced diet and a healthy lifestyle. Okay, what I want you to walk away from this workshop knowing in order to avoid harmful chemicals in our produce is, number one, buy organic when it comes to the dirty dozen. Number two, avoid the appeal label if you can. If you're able, okay, number three, if you're able to buy local, then buy local. The odds of your local farmers using tons of pesticides are more slim than if you're shipping produce in from different parts of the globe, okay? So buy local if you can, support local farmers. And of course, I know around here we have farmers who grow things organically. So that is our number one option, is when produce is in season, buy it in season. If you can go pick berries and then freeze a bunch of them, you can do that. If you're someone who's into canning and jarring, by all means do that, okay? So you can take the produce from the season and be able to save it for when it's not in season, so you don't need to be buying it from, you know, around the world in the off season and having it be loaded with pesticides or have it be genetically modified. And then also wash your produce, like all of it. I'm talking your citrus fruits, your squash, your bananas, your potatoes, berries, apples, all of it. Okay? Did you hear me say bananas? Yeah, because I don't normally wash my bananas, but I have been. Recently I started doing it because I was like, geez, I wash everything except for my bananas. So yeah, so there's that. And then finally, I was saying wash your produce. So you can rinse it well with running water, and that's going to take off a lot of the surface stuff, okay? But if you want a little extra oomph, then you can, before I say that, veggies and fruits, veggies with hard rinds. So even if I'm doing oranges, lemons, squash, those are all hard rinds. Cucumbers, carrots, anything like that. I use a very, very scrubby cloth. This one is made specifically for fruits and vegetables. This one, because it's made for both, it's got a scrubby side and a softer side that I love to use. It's very handy. You can use a scrubby cloth to really help get those things cleaner. And then even if you want more oomph than that, okay, then you can add in vinegar or baking soda. That's a very natural, safe way to clean your produce. You just sprinkle a little bit of baking soda in or a little bit of vinegar into a bowl of water, soak your produce. When you're done, you rinse it, set it out to dry, or dry it off. I personally choose to use a produce wash. So the one that I use is very clean. It's plant-based. It cuts through a lot of that residue, the waxes, helps me get a lot of that off, but also it doesn't leave a nasty aftertaste that I would get when I would do it with vinegar sometimes. So I prefer my produce wash. Again, if you want to know anything that I use, you can reach out to me privately and I'm happy to share. All right, what's next here? And finally, this is my very last thing. I have one last hack for you. It is a tasty morning detox drink for you to start your days. Are you ready? It's simple. You're going to drink warm lemon water to start your days, and do not eat or drink anything else for 20 to 30 minutes. Now, when I make my lemon water in the morning, this is what I'm doing. I'm warming up water. Why is that? Because when you take warm water into your system, your body has to do less work. When you're drinking cold water, your body has to warm it up, right? And before it starts using it, I guess, or doing something with it. But so it's better to start with warm water. And then I take half a lemon and I squeeze half a lemon into my warm water. And then finally, I take some apple cider vinegar, get it with the mother in it, organic, and you just some of that in there. Probably like a teaspoon, at least a teaspoon, if not two. Or not teaspoon, tablespoon. The bigger one. Okay. And the reason why that's so good for you, it does so much for you. Okay, number one, you're dehydrated when you wake up in the morning. Your body is naturally dehydrated, whoever you are, wherever you are. That's everybody. So a full cup of water is going to do wonders for your body. But also with the lemon, you're going to get vitamin C. Lemons and the apple cider vinegar, they're heart healthy. They're good for the brain. The lemon juice balances the body's pH. Apple cider vinegar will help to lower your blood sugar so you can avoid spikes followed by crashes, which affects your energy levels throughout the day. Warm lemon water and with the apple cider vinegar can also aid or help with weight loss. Okay? Starting your day with it will help to curb hunger cravings throughout the day. Aside from that, it also aids in digestion. It encourages your liver to produce bile, which is what gets the digestion, helps the digestion move along. Lemon water is also diuretic, which means it increases your urine rate, so you can purify and help reduce the chance of kidney stones. Okay, the list goes on. It can help clear skin. The lemon can help freshen your breath. It keeps you zen in the mornings. And it can even help you kick your coffee habit. Okay, if you start having that in the morning and maybe you're not having coffee. And then the last thing that you can do with that drink, if you're someone who likes like a little spice or something different, is you can add some spices that are healthy for you and good for you. So like some good ones would be, you could add some garlic to it. You could add some ginger or maybe some turmeric, because that's going to be anti-inflammatory as well. All right, guys, my friends, that is all I have for you tonight. I hope that you were able to take something away from this and that you'll feel more confident when you're in the grocery store getting your produce. I hope that you choose to shop local and support your local farmers as much as possible. And if you guys ever have more questions or things you want me to dive into or dig into, then reach out and let me know. I'm curious about this topic, and I'll do the research, and I'll come back and I'll share it out with you. So last but not least, I just want to say thank you again for taking the time to listen and learn, and thank you in advance for sharing this with people that you care about. I know that time is our greatest commodity, so it means a lot that you've chosen to dedicate this time to learning a little bit more to help you live your very best life for as long as possible. And our next webcast workshop will be June 25th, same time, same place, right here in the same group, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be a special summer topic. So I'll see you then, and in the meantime, please share this with someone you love. All right, I hope that you guys have a beautiful evening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.